Good afternoon, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk about my contemplative time this morning, which is all about how we think, of course. And today, I thought I would help us understand, or help you understand, how we're often slaves to our thoughts. And this sounds interesting, slaves to our thoughts, our own thoughts, that we are slaves to them. So I'll start with this quotation to start this off. And this quotation is by Henri Frederic Amiel. And the quotation says, "The man who has no inner life is a slave to his surroundings. The man who has no inner life is a slave to his surroundings." Now, what does that mean? If we think that it takes some introspective time to really understand ourselves, to really understand why we think the way we think, why we feel the way we feel, why we do the things that we do, it does take a little bit of a quieted mind. And if we don't have that, we are a slave to the surroundings, because what does the mind go to? What's not right? What do I have to do next? Who's calling me? It's like, think of it like the dog's like squirrel, right? That sort of idea. Some people call it monkey mind. And it's the same idea that when we are a slave to our surroundings, it's whatever is happening in our surroundings right now is what our mind focuses on. And the man who has no inner life gets caught up in this because it's happening, I'm paying attention to it. Because I feel this, I'm paying attention to it. Because this hurts on my body, because this diagnosis is here, because this person spoke to me this way, because the person cut me off in traffic, all sorts of things that we've got all the reasons outside of ourselves to point the finger at. This is the reason that my mind is not peaceful, and this is the reason that I'm not settled. This is the reason that I feel achy. This is the reason that my body hurts. This is the reason. And we always have a reason outside of ourselves. Now we turn that attention inward and we think, I am the one who's letting myself feel that way, right? So if someone says something not kind to me, and then I hear it, and then I carry it for the day, right? Or the few days, or maybe a few years, right? All sorts of things like that, that someone has said something, I'll hold on to it. I might even say to myself, I'm never going to forget that. I won't forgive them, right? Those sorts of things. And I carry that. So the incident was one thing, but then I'm going to carry it. Sometimes we've been in relationships that have been less than easy. And the longer we carry the experiences of that relationship, and of course, the mind wants to focus on these were the problems in it. These were the things that were not right. These were the things that I'm so glad I got out of there. If we get to that space, right? Many people are like, I can't believe I was in that, right? And this is our own mind that we are a slave to. And we have trained it this way because we've trained our mind to pay attention to the things I need to fix or repair or do something about, even if it only means worry about. And this is not really useful. And we all know this. And while knowing this and continuing to do it, this is what creates this mental slavery. So I saw another quotation I thought was really great. And this is by Publilius Syrus. And it says, "A wise man will be master of his mind. A fool will be its slave." A wise mind, or a wise man, sorry. A wise man will be master of his mind. A fool will be its slave. And this is the same idea, right? That the wise man notices the mind going into its usual patterns, that, oh, this is something for me to get concerned about. This is the thing I can pay attention to, and it's not really helpful. Like sometimes we need that thinking to make a immediate necessary decision, but a lot of it is just wasted thought. It's just literally like, oh, why is this happening? Sometimes it could be woe is me. Sometimes it could be, I don't like that person. I don't like this situation. I don't like where I'm at. I blame this or that. I can blame myself. I can blame something outside of me. But this is not the wise man, right? So that slave is just, okay, this is what I am being here. This is my job and this is what I do. Whereas the wise mind is controlling that mind, right? So the wise man controls that mind, that wise woman controls that mind of, oh, I see you pulling into this direction. And I know I've trained you this way. And I'm going to bring you back gently, lovingly, nurturing, how we would train a child. This is what I like to encourage with clients, that if we understand that the mind is very fragile, just like a child, just like someone needing direction, we don't say after one time of, let's say a child is learning how to speak and doesn't say a word properly. And so we correct it, right? We say, no, it's said like this. And they still don't say it correctly. So we keep on saying it. Maybe not that day, maybe for days, maybe for weeks. And why? We do it because we know that if they get enough practice, they hear it enough times, they will get to saying that word properly. And this will be useful for their life. Well, we haven't trained our mind that way, right? So the mind is like this child that's been unruly, we'll say, or at least it's been helpful in times that we've really needed it. But there's a lot of times that we just need it to be silent, to just be at ease, right? To be comfortable, that everything right now is good. We have very rarely spent time just enjoying the times that are good. So even when things are good, we're on to the next task or the next responsibility or the next worry. And this doesn't really help the mind, body, soul, right? This is an interesting thing that if we understand that the more control we let the mind have, we become its slave, right? So when we're in that spot, so then the mind is taking control, then the body actually responds, then we speak words that also say this or encourage this direction, right? So what will people speak about? I hear, of course, this doesn't feel good, this hurts, this is my lab work, this is not right, this is, I don't know what to do, I'm so worried, I'm so concerned. And it's all what we say is normal and natural, right? But the fact is, we look at the information, same information, we can say, okay, this is what I need to do, right? It's a completely different way. So this is the life experience that we can put a different energy into. Yeah, this is what I need to do now. Or maybe I don't know exactly what to do now, but I'm just going to give it just a few minutes, maybe a few days to just let it sit, and I know something will come up as to guide me as to what to do next. And sometimes it's a person that you might meet the next day. Sometimes it'd be a practitioner, some sort of healthcare. Sometimes it'll be someone that is close to you in terms of family or friend that will give you just some idea that just matches exactly what your needs are. And this is trust in the unknown, right? So this understanding that it's not our mind that is figuring out what to do. It's our mind that needs to be relaxed a little bit so that our soul can figure out what to do. And I will always give more power to the soul. I believe that that's the energy that's most divine. And this is the energy that we can work with to help ourselves. I wanted to finish today with a quote by Byron Katie, and I thought it was beautiful. So it says, "A thought is harmless unless we believe it. It's not our thoughts, but our attachment to our thoughts that causes suffering." This is so true. A thought is harmless unless we believe it. It's not our thoughts, but our attachment to our thoughts that causes suffering. So the suffering could be, this will never get better, right? There's so many people, it doesn't matter what situation you're going through in life. And all of us have been in that spot sometimes that I cannot see the way out of this. And this is again because we're trying to get our mind to guide us in our actions. If we say, there is a way out of this, even though I can't see it right now, I'm just going to relax my mind. And this is why meditation is so useful and so beneficial. But the right answers, the right help, the right results, the right actions come along in the right time. And this is what our mind does not like to believe, because the mind wants to believe that I need to figure this out. And if I, mind, don't do this, this will be a real mess, right? So today I'd love for you to sit with that for 5 minutes to just understand that our thoughts can be very useful when we're coming from a very centered space. And largely, our thoughts are not that useful because they turn into that monkey mind idea that I talked about at the beginning. It's just the next thing to look at, the next thing to do, the next thing to eat, next thing, responsibility, anything. And that's our minds normally. So until we train this child of our mind, we don't get that peace more regularly. But when we train the mind this way, this peace becomes just part of who we are. So this is what I'd love for you to think about for 5 minutes, maybe contemplate for yourself and understand, how is your mind thinking? And you know that I'm here if you need any help. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.